So I'm back with an update. It is Monday. It's been a week, and so his operation was on Thursday of not last week, but the week before. So it's been a week and a half-ish. And it's been rough. It's been quite rough. I was not expecting it to be this complicated. So let's see where we left off. I was able to give him his medication relatively well at the beginning of all of this in mixed in soft, chewy snacks, but he figured it out, and so I had to buy different snacks, and then he figured that out and stopped eating snacks altogether. So I had to start getting the pills down his throat, but it was 6 pills a day, 3 in the morning, 3 in the evening. And especially the painkiller was making him froth at the mouth and spit, and he would just get really violent. So over the weekend, I tried yet again, this time with my boyfriend, because it's usually just me. So on the weekend, luckily my boyfriend is here, and the two of us were able to try and hold him down, but I still couldn't get it down. And I'm just afraid that he's going to hurt himself. So, what ended up happening over the weekend was that on Friday night or early Saturday morning, I'm not sure, he got his flower collar off, and he licked himself clean. And all of the progress that he'd made with his wound, which was quite clean, it was looking dry, it was fine, huge setback. So within, like, I don't know how long it had been since he was licking himself, so I don't know how many hours had gone by, but by late morning he had passed around some of his stitches. And so I took him in that evening to the vet, and they noticed that the stitch, so the amputation was done on obviously his back leg, but it like right at the joint. So they've left a section of his femur. Is that right? The femur? I don't know. Maybe it is the femur for a cat. Anyway, it's the joint below just below the, like, so his hip joint is obviously still there, and he's got a section of the bone below that. And in that joint where his leg bends, like his back leg bends, so he can sit, so his butt can sit on the ground, that joint stitch was really pulling. And so they decided that they would take that one stitch out. So they cleaned him up, took the one stitch out. As soon as she took the one stitch out, he started like oozing liquid. And so she was like, kind of, it looked like she was panicking to me. And she ended up calling for another vet to help. And the other girl brought a stapler, and they stapled him shut on either side of that. The problem is that the wound is now open. And in my opinion, they probably should have left it as it was. But that said, I was confident, because they'd stapled it, that everything was going to be fine. So came home, brought the cat home, and he went about his normal routine. He went and sat on the couch behind me. Now, the couch, you can probably tell something's happened to the couch. Anyway, he went to sit on the couch. I have a wool sweater that I put down on the couch for him to sleep on. So he sleeps on this wool sweater. And it's after dinner. We had our dinner, and my boyfriend goes out to smoke a cigarette, and I go and check on the cat. And I move him just a little bit, and there is a pool of liquid under him. And I start panicking. I'm like, crap, what is this? I thought it was blood, but it was very, like, the sweater is red. That's the other problem. And so the sweater wasn't a ton darker. It didn't look like it was full on blood. So I lift him off the couch because I needed to move the sweater and like just get this stuff off the couch that was all wet and like seeping through, and lift him up. And as soon as I lifted him up, he started like pouring liquid out of his wound. It was like just drips of what looked like blood everywhere, but it wasn't full on blood, luckily. So anyway, I panicked, like full on panic, and my boyfriend, I ran down and called him back up into the apartment, and the two of us are like looking at this scene that looked like a horror movie because it was like blood everywhere, and the couch is soaked, like he soaked right through the sweater, he soaked through the fabric of the couch, and he's dripping, he's literally like dripping as he's walking around. And so anyway, I call the vet and I'm like, look, we were there this morning, this is what's happened, there's all this fluid everywhere. And she's like, is it blood? And I'm like, well, no, I don't think so, it's more liquidy than that, and it's not quite as dark. She's like, oh, okay, well, that's fairly normal because it's not necessarily what would always happen, but with sometimes this can happen. And so, yeah, so the situation is, and this has been since Saturday now, that he's leaking, like profusely, quite profusely, he's leaking, and I have to change all of the towels that he normally sleeps on. I've got them in the wash, and I've got what are they called? I don't know what they're called in English, like diaper, like those horizontal diaper material pads that go down for puppies. I think we already talked about them because a friend of mine brought one over for the litter. So I bought a pack of those, and I have them under him wherever he sleeps. And around the house, he just drips when he sits, when he walks around, he's just constantly dripping. And as they said, as long as it's transparent and not cloudy, not gray, not smelly, not, as long as it's transparent, somewhat transparent, that it's got a pink hue, an orange hue, a yellow hue is fine. But anything else, it's a problem. So for now, he's okay. But it's a pain in the butt because it's like everywhere. It gets everywhere, and I don't think it's like the healthiest fluid. So I'm constantly cleaning up and constantly like washing stuff. The pads are super helpful. Like these pads are super useful. And so yeah, I've got them on various surfaces, hoping that will keep it contained. And yeah, so that was Saturday, and then Sunday, Sunday, I think I can't remember now because it's been a bit of a blur because I didn't sleep at all on Saturday night, because I was just still in panic mode, and also I didn't want like him to be getting up onto furniture and stuff because I didn't have the pads that night. It was too late when all of this happened to go out and buy stuff. I only had one plastic sheet that I had from a physiotherapy appointment a while back. So it's like a plastic cover of sorts to put down. So I had that on the bed, and he slept on that during the night, but it was I was worried that he was gonna like sleep on a part of the bed and like soak through the bed and, you know, soak through the mattress and stuff. It was just, it was so much liquid constantly. So I didn't sleep at all Saturday, and then Sunday, had an appointment to go back to the vet to check on the situation because I wasn't sure that this was normal. I was like, I think you need to have a look at this. So they did. They had me in again. And at that point, I was like, I can't feed him medication anymore. He's refusing it. He's becoming violent with me, and I don't want to have to like pressure him into this medication. So now I've got an appointment every day to continue antibiotics and painkillers. He was supposed to be off the antibiotics today, was his supposedly last day. Friday he's supposed to get his stitches out, but I'm 90% sure that's not going to happen because his wound is still very wet and very oozy, and like he's dripping fluids from each of his stitches except for the very first ones and the very last ones. The very first and very last ones are still very dry and closed. The rest are all very open, and it's all looking really bad. Well, it's not looking bad. They say that it's not terrible looking. The vets are saying that it's not terrible looking. It's not the worst thing they've ever seen. It's obviously open, it's oozing, but it needs to. So he needs to get rid of this liquid that's in under the wound. So it's, I guess, kind of a good thing in a sense. And I think I've already mentioned in previous videos, there was this sloshing sound that I could hear. So there was a lot of fluid buildup, and this so-called seroma thing that nobody mentioned except one of the vets. Yeah, so anyway, it's a thing, and it's happened to Ghosty. And I guess it's luck of the draw sort of thing. You know, you don't know if it's going to happen or if it's not going to happen. But I could tell right away that this is what had happened, that there was a lot of fluid buildup. I could hear it, like you could hear it sloshing around. So I guess he just needs to get rid of it. Problem is that there's a medication that I'm supposed to be giving him that I can't, that I'm having a very hard time giving him in general, any medication. But they can't inject it because it's like a natural supplement of sorts. It's got bromelain and pineapple extract, and I think bromelain is pineapple extract. But anyway, there's some other stuff in it, I can't remember what, that's supposed to help him get rid of the fluid. But he's got like an open wound at this point that's leaking fluid. So I don't know, maybe they said a few days. So I'm hoping it'll be a few days, but it's already been a few days. Like it's been since Saturday, and it's now Monday, and he's still leaking quite a lot of fluid. So I don't know. We'll just keep going, obviously. Not much else we can do. Hopefully it'll just get better from here. Well, Sunday he was very low, very quiet, didn't want to eat, was very lethargic, was sleeping a lot, and I couldn't get much food into him. Once he was at the vet and had his shot with the painkiller, he was okay, and even played a little bit last night. And today he's doing fairly well. And yeah, we went to the vet this evening for his medication, this afternoon really, and he's sleeping now, but yeah, he's okay. I mean, he's doing well, aside from the setback. Yeah, but it's been a rough weekend, and I'm exhausted again because, you know, at the end of last week I was managing to get some rest, but last night and the night before were tough. So yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah, I'll update again as things move forward, as things change, because yeah, I was not expecting any of this. So hopefully, as I said, hopefully these videos can be useful to somebody going through similar things. Anyway, Bye.